All right. Now we're back. A little bit of antics here in the studio. Now we're talking about companies getting younger and younger, and a lot of these companies, these tech companies, are really young. And Devin really hit it on the head. And there's another question that we have for Devin. I was thinking about, but let's get to this. Real quick. Let's talk to our very own youth here. The future of Pulse E-Media and technology in general in the world. Let's start off with Jaden. Jaden is a very insightful young man, has a lot of information, a lot of good thoughts. So Jaden, you're a young person, definitely in the tech world, coming up in the technology age right now. Do you see that technology is something that you use almost automatically, like with your tablet, stuff like that? Is that something you use without even thinking, Jaden?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. So how hard is it when you first got your tablet? How hard was it for you to figure out how to use it?
It wasn't that hard, but I figured it out after a while.
See, so how long would you say? Like a day it took you? Like before you would download?
Yeah, one day. It was like one day.
It was not even that, Xavier's saying. Not even that. I mean, when I say a day, I mean like 24 hours, like from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. the next day.
It was like a couple of hours or...
So just a couple hours it takes you to figure it out. So for you, technology is something that you're growing up with. That's a part of your life. That's a part of your school. In school, do you use a lot of computers and stuff in your in Excelsior?
Yes.
So, I mean, Xavier, what do you think about that? Is technology something that you are used to in terms of you're learning all of this stuff here in the studio, you picking it up pretty quick? How comfortable do you feel with technology?
I feel more comfortable.
You feel more the more you do it?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But if you were to get like, let's say a Samsung Galaxy S4. Have you ever had a Samsung Galaxy S4?
No.
Okay, so if I gave you a Samsung Galaxy S4 right now, boom, do you feel confident in yourself that you could figure out how to use it?
Yeah.
And so you're not scared, like, oh man, nah, don't give this to me.
No.
You feel comfortable that you can figure it out. So why do you think that companies now are getting younger and younger and younger? Like, by the time you graduate college, you'll be like early 20s, and then you'll be ready to go out into the workforce or whatever. And if you decide, and Jaden decides to go into the tech sector of it, you'll just be like what, 21, something like that, going into. Why do you think companies are getting? Is it that young people know what they're doing? You guys know what you're doing more than us old people?
Yeah, because we were born in the technology world.
Whereas we had to grow into it.
You have to get used to it. But us, we were born into it.
That's all you know.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, exactly, and I think that's a good point, David. You're saying that we had to get used to using technology. You said, whereas you know,
as soon as we get in the world,
technology
is around us.
Exactly. You said it's kind of like someone my age just learning to swim versus a child learning to swim, and they know how to swim their whole life. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I agree with that. And that's why I believe technology companies are getting younger and younger as time goes on. So it doesn't surprise me that these companies are... and then you have a lot of the hardware companies like an IBM, like an Oracle, like a Dell and Sony. Those are hardware companies, and their average age is 38. That's my age group. 38, 36, 37. That's the age group those companies are. That's my age group. And then you have the younger companies. Well, not younger companies, but yeah, you have the younger companies, but they're more software driven companies like a Facebook, like a Zynga, like a Epic Games. Those are all younger, those are all software companies. And when you have people like Jaden, people like Xavier, young people growing up with technology, they have it, they're at home, they're too young to drive, so they're at home a lot of times, and they use their tablets, they're there, and they're like, you know what, I'm just going to use this thing, and they figure out how to code. They figure out how to use it in ways that I would never figure out, or that I would never think of, or they use it in ways that it wasn't designed to be used for, but they figured out a better way. And so when they get the means, then they're able to put that into something that the world can use, just like the guy from Somebody, like I keep talking about, who's 17 years old. And so the median age, according to these companies, according to PayScale, is less than 30 when you're talking about software companies. Now, not surprisingly, the companies with older workers tend to be older companies because some people still stay with one employer for many years, and over time a company may accumulate more of these people. Cisco Systems has a median worker age of 35. Both Samsung and Microsoft come in at 34. The companies also tend to have workers with a lot more experience. Now, younger companies tend to have workers with less time at the firm, which is partly an effort of being new and hiring intensively in recent years. Facebook's median age worker has been with the company for just 1.1 years, while IBM and Oracle comes in around 6 years for the average length of time that a particular worker has been there. So there's a lot of different things going on that constitutes or contributes to the younger age, older age of different companies, but definitely we're seeing in the tech sector that the average age of technology workers is very young, and that's a good thing because getting young people in helps to advance technology. And the problem, like Devin was saying, with a lot of the older companies is that they just don't want to change, and if they don't want to change, then it's going to be very hard for a company to move on. Now, speaking of technology, speaking of companies moving on, according to Phone Arena, we were talking about Samsung, their average age being about 38 and stuff like that, but yet, according to a report by Phone Arena, there will be many versions of the Samsung Galaxy Note 3. A lot of versions, there could be as many as 4. Yes, 4 versions of the Samsung Galaxy Note. Now, we heard it all. The Samsung Galaxy Note was first said to be to feature an unbreakable display. Then it was said to have a larger display than 6 inches. Then others claimed it was going to be 5.7 inches and still unbreakable. And others claimed it was going to be 6 inches, not unbreakable. I mean, who's got it right? Well, it turns out that everyone may be right because the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, which is Samsung's other flagship phone other than the GS4, Samsung Galaxy Note 3 might end up launched in 4 different or very different models according to a Korean publication just this week. Now, remember we're talking about Samsung. So the company that iterates on design of its flagship Galaxy S4 to eternity with all sorts of models. Now here there is a slight difference though, as we are not talking about different models, but about a single one, the Galaxy Note 3. The 3rd generation phablet would allegedly come in a limited premium edition with unbreakable AMOLED screen and built out of premium metals. But you'd also be able to get a cheaper plastic one with an inferior 8 megapixel camera and an LCD display. Now here's how it breaks down with all these various models. The Model 1 would have the following characteristics: premium metals, 13 megapixel camera, unbreakable AMOLED screen, and sold in limited amounts. The Model 2 would have a plastic body, 13 megapixel camera, regular AMOLED display, not a Super AMOLED, but a regular AMOLED display. And Model 3 would also have a plastic body, 13 megapixel camera, but feature a regular LCD screen. And Model 4 finally will be the cheapest, made out of plastic, 8 megapixel camera with an LCD display. So we see that Samsung definitely is not slowing down as far as product offerings, and that is the reason why Samsung right now owns 29% of the mobile phone market share. 29%. iOS owns 20%, but Google overall owns in terms of the mobile market, 51 point something, and then iOS is in the 40s with their overall mobile, because that includes iPad, iPhone, and all their various mobile products. But as far as iPhone to Samsung phone, Samsung owns that 29% of the market share, and it's understandable because they have so many good products out. And now, according to a report by Phone Arena, Samsung Galaxy Note 3 is going to be in very distinct flavors, 4 very distinct flavors, depending on which one you want. So the Galaxy Note 3, which is slated to come out later this year, if it's something that you're interested in, you're going to be able to get this thing in 4 very distinct flavors. Yep, that's right, 4 very distinct flavors. If you're a Samsung fan, you like that phablet, you're someone that likes the bigger phones, because the Samsung Galaxy S4 is a 5-incher. The Note is coming in at 5.7 to 6 to over 6 inches, possibly 6.3 inches is how big the Samsung Galaxy Note is going to be. So that's a true phablet, just that's just a few inches under the not 10, 11 inches, not 11 inches. That's just 9 inches under the 7-inch tablet size that everybody knows. And so these phablets that Samsung is coming out with, the Note 3, definitely we're going to see that in a variety. What it looks like, we're going to see it in a variety of sizes and features. Now, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about 2 things. We're talking about the Nokia Lumia 1020 is confirmed, as well as the Nexus 7 release. The next Nexus 7 release could be right around the corner. And also, where's the GS4 headed? All of that and more coming up right after the break here on Tech Pulse. So just stay tuned right here.